Hello everyone, today we are going to see why and how you can buy protein from an MCP client. In previous demos we used Cursor or the Cloud app. Today instead I'm going to use Goose. For those of you that don't know, Goose is a MCP client and it can run also ChatGPT and very different models, and it's from Block, which is Jack Dorsey's company. I wanted to give it a try, and so far I must say that I'm very impressed. I have played with it maybe for half an hour, and the interface looks very polished, very clean, very easy to install. And the MCP clients are very easy to set up. You have a nice user interface, and the environment variables are clearly delimited because in Cursor and Cloud app, they are like these JSON files that you need to add as environment variable in plain text. So I can see a lot of good in Goose. I'm not a big fan yet of desktop apps for LLMs, but so far, so good. With that being said, let's go with the easy part. We have configured Goose already with our Amazon MCP and Fewsats. For those of you that don't know, Fewsats is the MCP that can pay, and Amazon allows you to find products and get offers for them. So what we will buy is this protein. We will just copy the text and go head over to Goose. I want to buy this protein in Amazon. Find it. What we introduced in this release is the ability for the MCP to choose different domains. In the past, we would only support Amazon.com, but now we can support different domains. In this case, Amazon.es. How do we decide this? The LLM decides this. In this case, because the product is in Spanish, the LLM assumed correctly that I am in Spain and I want to buy in Amazon.es. If it uses the wrong domain, you can, of course, nudge the LLM telling it which domain you want to use. So far, we support .com and .es, and the next one is going to be Germany, probably, because someone opened a request. Another thing to notice here that is nice is like the reply from the tool use. It's a list of JSONs, and instead of having a huge list that is very inconvenient, it's collapsed into different items. So I can see, for example, this is the first item that was returned by the search tool. This is the second one, and so on and so forth, up to 50. Now we see that it found a product that I wanted. It's protein, like with neutral flavor, and I can say like, yes, I want to buy that one. Now, something that is good and bad about Goose is that it does not require you to confirm the MCP tools by default. Cursor makes you click, and Cloud too. From a security point of view, it might be concerning because it might remove files from your system or do unsafe things. So use at your own leisure. But the experience flows nicely, especially for a demo. Now we see that it got my billing info because I already have it set it up. It's getting the payment offers from the Amazon MCP, and then it's using Fewsats, where my funds are, to pay for this offer. So we see that the payment has been successfully processed, and now it's trying to get, here it has all the order details and the shipping info. If you have never used Fewsats, you will probably be asked for the shipping information first, and you can have API keys which are restricted. So if you don't want to allow the LLM to just use your money, you can say like, hey, if you spend more than €5, I need to approve it beforehand. In this case, I allow it to use them because I want the demo to be quicker. So this covers the how. So now let's see, why would you buy protein? So protein has maybe a bit of a bad rep now for gym pros, like wanting to get some big muscle. But I think that almost everyone would benefit from eating more protein. The reason is, and maybe many of you don't think about this in detail, but you are expected to lose half of your muscle until you get all, let's say 80, 90, you're going to lose half of your muscle mass and two-thirds of your strength, right? And right now that might not seem a lot, but this will severely limit your freedom when you are older. If you like to fly, for example, and now you can put your baggage, your backpack in the overhead container, let's say it weighs what, 10 kilos? It's fairly heavy, but not uncommon. 10 kilos now means that if you are 80 and you want to travel on your own, this will weigh 30 kilos for you. So suddenly 30 kilos is quite a lot. I don't know how many of you can comfortably lift 30 kilos overhead in a plane. And that means that if you want to be able to do that when you are older, you should be now 3 times stronger. So if you want to be able to lift 10 kilos when you're older, you should now do comfortably 30. If you say, well, I don't care, when I get older, I will not travel or someone will help me. Okay? So think about it. If you have kids, you know how much they weigh, right? For you now, it might be convenient or comfortable to lift your toddler or a baby from the crib. What is that? 4 kilos, 5? Even it can get to 10 as they grow, right? Like 2 years old, maybe. Not too bad. But when you become a grandpa or a grandma, if you want and can someday, suddenly you will have to multiply those numbers by 3, right? And if the toddler is 4 kilos, that's going to be 12 kilos that you have to lift from the ground. And if you cannot lift that from the ground, you will probably not be able to take charge and take care of the babies at some point, right? So I would argue that there's a lot of situations that now seem mundane and very easy for you to perform. But if you count that you will lose one-third of your strength, they become much, much harder. So if you want to still be able to do these things when you're older, you should now become 3 times stronger than your future goals. And protein is good in that regard because the World Health Organization recommendations, I think it's a bit more than 1 gram per kilogram, and that is very conservative. It means how much protein you need to eat to make sure that your muscles do not disappear, because muscles keep renovating constantly, and then the protein you eat helps supply the new muscles. If you want to actually increase your muscle size and your strength, because they are quite correlated, you really need to eat much more protein. If you cannot eat that much protein, then protein shakes is something that can help a lot, because there's no way around doing exercise, but increasing your protein intake triggers your body to create more muscle independently of exercise volume. And this is especially useful for old people because if they're trying to get some muscle, one of the best investments they can do is to eat a lot of protein. And for you young people doing a lot of exercise, if you're not eating enough protein, and that is a lot of protein actually, the Peter Attia recommends 2 grams per kilo, and I am not a doctor, so I think it's reading a bit, I found it a good advice, contrasting it with other people, doctors. And it's quite a lot. If you don't measure it, 2 grams per kilogram is quite a lot. And sometimes you cannot eat that much, so it's a good recommendation to supply it. Again, I'm not a doctor, so this is technical advice, but not medical advice. The goal was buying something on MCP, and here you have the demo. And hopefully we will, yeah. So these are the confirmation emails. As soon as you buy something, you get the Fewsats confirmation, like you bought it. And then the Amazon MCP tells you like, okay, the order has been confirmed. And finally, the order has shipped. And with that, I leave you today. Thank you all and have a nice weekend.